Welcome back, everybody, to Rain on Your Parade with J.L. Cauvin. I'm J.L. Cauvin, here, as always, with producer Mike and assistant producer Frankie.
Hi, everybody. Hi, JL. How you doing?
Oh, it's been an interesting couple of weeks for me,
I
Mike.
bet. I need some updates.
Yeah, it's I lost some weight.
You look great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a new diet I'm doing called running for office. Who needs Wegovy or Ozempic when you're too stressed to sleep and can't keep any food down?
Yeah.
Like the idea of eating was like this combination of freezing in the cold plus nerves.
Yeah.
Really. So yeah, I was shedding some weight. It's a new diet I'm trying called Making America Again. But yeah, we've talked a lot about me possibly running for office on this show, and it's I don't know if there's ever a great time to do it, but the opportunities are rare. So a couple of really hard working people kind of put together an entire campaign and infrastructure in, I think right now it's like 3 weeks.
Wow.
Like everything you see, everything that we're putting out has been the work of like very few people working extremely hard. But it was announced and I got permission from work. Can't mention them, obviously. You can't.
That's good. I know that was a concern.
Right.
Up to the deadline.
Right.
Past the deadline.
When I announced before I knew whether I had permission, because I couldn't, it was like if I wait for, and I did get permission, but if I had waited for permission, then it was like I didn't get permission.
Yeah.
So, I just thought, I'm a political junkie. And I know there's been so much self-doubt because I've been thinking about this for relatively a long amount of time. And it's one of those things where you're sort of like, I don't know if I should. And I'm like, the people who get into this probably, I don't know. Nobody ever really breaks it down. That's the thing. Everybody projects I want to help people.
Right.
And I love people in this country. I love people. And it's like, we got to do it more. We got to get it better. And what I've done, especially on a couple of Patreon episodes, but also I think on this, is kind of break down the whole process where it's like, self-doubt is a completely normal thing when you're trying to do something very big.
Oh, yeah.
And regardless of how we want to touch our politicians and think they're all this or that, serving in your government at a high level is a major challenge. It's a major act of service, at least the way I see it. This isn't a brand exercise. This isn't I joke with people when they sort of, and after they talk to me, like in a media interview for like 20 minutes, they sort of have to ask, but they already get it. They ask in a perfunctory sort of way, like, I got to ask though, is this a comedy thing? And they're already asking like, I have to get it on the record, but I already can tell it's not. But I always say, just ask my fans how I feel about comedy. if they think I'm trying to prolong that existence.
Right.
As a good side note in this first segment of the show, we all know that I love Toronto. We all know that and Ottawa. I had some of the great, it was refreshing to see I could pack a room multiple times. So I said, let me go back up to Toronto. We'll do a sequel. We'll do Trump versus Canada too. No, I asked the club if they could, knowing that I was about to take 10 days off, to just do nothing but go to work, stand in supermarkets, shopping malls, flea markets, etc., for 7 to 10 hours a day, freezing. I said, I'm not going to be doing too much social media promoting of shows. And so I wrote to the club and I said, hey, would you mind, just to give me a leg up, could you maybe send out an email blast just to the people who came to my show? Right. Like they haven't seen, and they probably won't see my post saying, Canada, I'm coming back. Right. So the algorithm, very risky, relying on that. Right. Your email list of people who are already at my show, very safe. Yeah. Smart, even. But there's been this thing with comedy clubs, and I don't know if they're getting like the cheap plan from Monkey Survey or Survey Monkey or Constant Contact or whatever, where they're like, It's like the Glengarry leads. They're like,
Right.
we don't send out the emails to your shows.
Right.
Emails are for closers.
Yeah.
Well, I packed the place.
Right.
Don't I get? No. You don't get a mass email.
These leads are gold.
Yeah. You see this Tim Hortons donut? It cost more than your career. So I got some messages from them today, and they were like, "Are you doing any promotion or advertising for this?" And it was a moment where I had just tremendous clarity. I'm so sleepy. I'm exhausted, and we'll get into the process. I want to give people kind of like a fun view. This isn't like my policies. This isn't campaigning. This is, I can give you a 10-day. This isn't going to be. There was stuff I loved about it, stuff I felt moved to tears almost because, I feel like I've done a lot of my comedy career and a lot of things in my life, like kind of on my own. And to have people rallying to sort of help in something serious. Now, of course, then there's those people who, don't and like treat it even more flippantly than they treat my comedy.
Right.
And you're like, good to know you're still here for all aspects, to ruin all aspects of things I pursue. But, oh God! Well, when the messages came through from the comedy club, though, it was just one of these. I'm exhausted. I'm kind of proud of what I've pulled off so far, and comedy is sending me the message that there is no sanctuary for you. There is nowhere for you to feel like your comedy really matters the way you want it to matter. Mm-hmm. It's fickle. It's random, and that's this last 5 years, it took me 15 years to get cynical about comedy, of the ups and downs and not getting where I wanted to be. It took 15 years, but then that jolt from the pandemic was such a big high, and so it felt so deserved, felt so earned. It felt so earned that whatever the myriad of things I'm able to throw out there, one of them caught fire, and I was like, yes, however I bring you in, let's build this where it should have been 5-10 years ago. Yeah. But to see the career sort of falter and fail by my standards in the last 3 or 4 years, it took more of a drag to kind of bring me back to my senses again. But just getting the messages from Toronto where I was like, "Are you doing anything for your shows?" I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to do anything for my shows ever again.
Yeah, right. How does that feel?
It feels. I'll probably be sad about it. But I'm really I wish more people, this is going to make me sad. I wish more people were as proud of my comedy as I am. Mm. And you don't do it to be a tree in the forest with nobody hearing it.
Yeah.
I've done it. Maybe people don't appreciate it. I've done it the right way.
Yeah.
Like the hard way, the right way, the way where I can be proud of. And that's why when we talked about this, there are some tweets that I was like, this is not comedy. I was angry on a February in 2013. Yeah, it's like a mean-spirited joke. Delete. But the bulk of my work, the 99% of my work, I'm like, I'm not hiding it.
Right.
I'm not hiding it. I will not hide. If our party can't look past that, then we're going to repeat the same mistakes. And I'm not saying I have to be the guy that you have to look past a crude joke from me in particular. But if we're not at that point yet, we're a guy who does good work with his life, has good ethics, sometimes a little nasty on stage or in YouTube comments. If these are like deal breakers now, man, politics is going the way of comedy. Mm-hmm. And maybe it already is. But I'm very proud of my comedy career. But it's like letting go of something where it's like, you don't have to suffer anymore. And the Toronto thing was so interesting because I was afraid like, if I make it, I think in good faith, I need to cancel. Like, I'm not going to be, my campaign team is like, we have 61 days till the election and you're doing 5 days in Toronto. Mm-hmm. Right. So, but it was like kind of, I didn't feel bad. I felt like that tracks.
Right.
Like everything, no matter how good I've done, and people who've watched, go watch Trump versus Canada. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. If I can't get some repeat, then you go, it's all random.
Yeah.
And that was when I took the law firm job in 2019. that's what comforted me, is that I did not have control over my career. I had control over what I could do. But if you're betting on luck, then all this hard work and focus and like, I got to be. And then look what happened. I took a job, a pandemic hit, and I blew up bigger than I've ever been from anything by a factor of 20. Mm-hmm. So it validated myself, but I couldn't help but think, hey, but I do deserve this, or I have earned this through all the good things I've put out. Mm-hmm. But when I got that message from Toronto, you know what I thought? You know what I can do? I can go with Laura to Toronto, and we can eat in nice restaurants at night and not go watch me do shows.
Yeah.
And then we can go for a walk, and we can go to a show or a game, and comedy doesn't. And it's I know some people may be finding this sort of startling, because it's like, but you're running as a comedian, you're a comedian, Laura. Yeah. The 22 years doing comedy is not going to leave me.
Right.
But it was a really crazy moment. And I don't know, is this the fatigue? Is this the 10 days thawing? Like, Jack Torrance in the garden maze at the end of The Shining. That was me at the end of this, just like, just frozen. And so I don't know. I was tired. I went to work today. And when I got that message, it just felt like this isn't even the complaining me. And then we'll take a break, and I'll get to like the signature race. Mm-hmm. But you just sort of go, I've talked so much about this, like, where is art right now? Where is comedy? And, I can do videos on Facebook and Cameos and YouTube, and that's 90% of my comedy money. And I don't have to leave my apartment. And I don't like that that's what art has become in the comedy space, at least for me. Obviously, Shane Gillis is doing Eagles Stadium, so I guess it's working out for some people.
Yeah.
But even that in and of itself is sort of a vulgar thing, because I go, I'm sorry, he's a funny guy. He's going to bring out his friends. He's going to make $1 million. Comedy in a football stadium? Sorry.
Yeah.
Like comedy, like what? Because it's money. Right. And is that the art? Like, I mean, and I get the bragging rights, but since when did art become about like, I'm one of, and I'm not saying he's doing it for this. It's his hometown. It's like, I'm not casting aspersions on him individually, but like, it's another, in the big level, that's showing where we're going. Like on the micro level, it's like, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
So many people love my stuff. Nobody, not selling tickets. And on the biggest level, it's like, everybody loves your stuff. So you have to like do it. So you don't have to do it in some gaudy way, and yet comedy is like, hey, look, I did a football stadium. That's a new landmark in comedy. But it's like, I guess, like, as ego goes, but is football stadium comedy good?
Can't imagine.
Yeah. So whatever. But I thank you, Toronto. You gave me life in April, and now you've told my comedy career that it's okay to let go. And I have the online stuff when I want to just I can keep doing that, if I want to, but it's, this feels like one of those things, and then I'm rambling now, so we'll take a break in a second, but it's one of those things where you just go, I don't know. It's just, I'm trying not to look at it in terms of like, I don't view it, and maybe this is a good thing. I don't view it as like I wasted my life.
No.
No, I know.
No. Come on.
I look at it more. No. And I look at it more like this isn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. It's changed. Right. And I fear how badly it's going to change because I care. And that's one of the things when I was burning bridges, not even directly, but mid-career, when my blog started to get a lot of attention, like when the algorithm didn't suppress other websites, because I just kept talking about how unfair the comedy system was. And I wasn't talking about me. I was like, why are middle acts getting paid the same 35 years in? Has anything changed? Have any of these millionaire comics come down off their fucking high horse to help no, they pay their friend 10 grand and like once again, like America, and I've always said comedy is a really good microcosm. If I could tell people what I could bring to the table, my personal attributes from comedy would be honesty, hard work, perseverance. But JL, you sound like you're quitting. Is that perseverance? 22 years, okay?
Yeah, right.
It's enough perseverance. Perseverance is not a death sentence.
Yeah.
But there is also that rage at sort of an industry. And I'm not a member of a union. I wish I was. I wish there was a comedy union. You know, I wish there was a comedy union, but you can't form a union when the base level of employee is awful scab.
Yeah.
And
I'll take that guy's gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll go sleep with his girlfriend while he's at another gig. It's just a bad community. But that tells you a lot about America. And my caution, my like what I've learned from comedy, not just the personal skills, but sort of observing how an industry can so cannibalize its own people. I just kept saying, why isn't pay gone up? They pay their own people. Like, hey, I was homophobic, but now my daughter's gay, so therefore I'm now an ally. It's like that. It's like, oh, you don't care broader than your own circle. And that's a mentality we have a problem with in America in general. But just the way the economics of it for the first half of my career, or first 2/3 of my career, I thought were awful. And then the art itself, which makes sense, because if people are willing to sell out or not protect artists or the community, then selling out is a natural, just AI or feed the algorithm. So I thank Toronto. I didn't expect tonight to be the night where I was like, I guess it's done. And maybe it's not, but I haven't emailed a club for a new gig in like 4 months, because I'm just like, why? Why should I even send this club an email? Why should I, hey, club that I performed in 2019 and 2022, what gives? Mm-hmm. I have a bigger audience. What gives? Why am I still begging you for gigs? So, I guess, I always tell people where I'm going to be. JLforNJ.com, I guess, is where I'll be. So I got to cancel some gigs and sell some tickets on StubHub. But it hasn't really hit me, but it feels right. I've been dancing around this for a long time, and it always takes, I did a 5-minute guest set. I'll after the break, I'll talk about, but I also had an unbelievable 5-minute set in Morristown, like off the charts. Mm-hmm. Maybe that should be the last one. We'll be back after the break with some fun talk about where I'm going now. And we're back. Mike, how was it talking me off the ledge during the break?
I'm going to say to the audience what I said to you and what I have been feeling about you since I knew you were going to make this decision to run. And I know this Toronto thing sort of feels like the cherry on top for you, the final crescendo, if you will, in a comedy career well executed, or somewhat well executed, however you want to whatever. I'm proud of you, buddy. I really am. I think that you're moving on to something better. Even if you don't win the seat,
and doesn't that say something? U.S. Congress, something better than the comedy world. Well,
because listen, man, you're a really smart guy. You are capable. I do believe that you're capable of doing this. And
as Laura said to me, there's idiots in Congress. And I said, thank you, my love, for that robust endorsement.
No, but listen, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I've told you this in the past, but like I remember seeing your stuff when I was like making the decision to want to be a comedian. And I thought, man, this guy's really funny, really funny. And then when we started working together on the Trump show through Jay, like, truthfully, the only reason I took that gig was because he told me it was with you. And that's no shade at Jay, but I was like, oh, wow, I've never seen this guy out when I was still doing stand-up,
right,
like, ever. And I've always have always liked this guy's stuff. And then we become friends. And obviously, like, I just don't want you to feel like if you're moving on from this into something that I personally think, now that I'm your friend, will be better for you and you're suited to do this job. Like,
I mean, I'm literally wearing a suit.
Yeah, and you look great.
I'm ready.
You're losing weight. You could maybe sleep a little bit more, but that's a different subject. So I just want
you'd think so, but when that clock hits 3:45 and I'm wide awake, I go, I guess I'm ready for the day.
I just want, like, I want the takeaway from all of this to just be that, like, I know this is frustrating in a lot of ways, and it is difficult in a lot of ways, moving on and moving in a different direction, but you've done awesome work for as long as you've been doing this, and you have reached people, and it's okay. It's okay to move on a little bit, and it's okay to relax. And I hope that both of those things for you find you, because you deserve it, man. You've been working really hard for a really long time, and you're in a position here to do something really great. And
2% in the polls
doesn't matter.
No,
even if it doesn't
I
work,
know,
even if
I'm
that
just...
doesn't work out, man, like,
oh, the 40th person who's informed me that Volodymyr Zelensky was also a comedian. Oh, okay.
Hey, you're onto something, baby.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's new information.
Yeah. So that's how that was my break. That was how I felt about the break.
All right. Well, people want to know. I've given some insights to the Patreon folk. But people want to know, and yeah, I am doing cameos for the holidays. I can't turn off that spigot just yet. I need to pay bills.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
So last Friday we get the notice. Okay, petitions are out. Boom, print these out. And I said to Laura, I was like, do me a favor, print like 3 at your office. All right, we need a couple. Yeah. And obviously it's 500 signatures. So I said print out 6. I said print out 6. That gives us a buffer. Yeah. 500 and then 1 extra. Yeah. And we went first night, Laura and I, and this is just one of those things, you know, the 2 things that made me sort of close to weepy was, like, Laura, she's in sales. So I don't want to portray her as this, like, super quiet little person who never speaks. She just doesn't laugh at my jokes. Mm-hmm. That's all. The harshest silence. But she's in sales, but she's a little woman, and she was just out there marching around with me, softening my image. I said I looked like the bouncer at supermarkets when I'm by myself. I was like, I need support. Yeah. Like, my best friend came out. He couldn't petition, but he could hang out with me. Yeah. And he would say to people, hey, you want to meet your next congressman? And that would stop. And it's like, just the support. And I could tell my friend wasn't, like, comfortable with me. I was like, thanks, man. It's very lonely out here. So it means a lot that you're out here. And then, like, no response and just move on. Mm-hmm. But Laura trekking around with me, because you feel like for yourself, you're like, well, I'm the asshole who's doing this. You're just putting yourself in the ship with me. Yeah. Try and help me. So the first people we walk up to are at the Wellmont Theater in Montclair. And it's mostly older white people. It's some concert, like a Pink Floyd-y, Grateful Dead, like laser light show type band. Mm-hmm. Not either of those, but just that type of band. And so she goes, there's a concert. It might be like some liberals or Democrats. I go, okay. Walk up to a trio of people, and I go, hey, first person, the very first person I approach in this race. Hey, are you guys happen to be registered Democrats in the area? And a recurring theme I would run into, which is like, that should tell you what I'm running for. Right. Liberal or conservative? Okay. Running for the Democratic primary to replace Mikey Sherrill. I don't vote for baby killers. Enjoy your Grateful Dead show, sir. Thank you. You seem like a real peace, love, and free love kind of guy. Yeah. I was convinced that man's never done anything pro-life in his life. Yeah. If Mike Pence had been there, he wouldn't have talked like that. Mm-hmm. He would have said, I'm actually a Republican, son. Yeah. But I like seeing the democratic process at work. Well, thank you, Pastor Mr. Rogers.
Remember him, Mike Pence? Miss him.
Remember that backbone of steel in the Republican Party, Mike Pence? How far they have fallen. Yep. Like, Mike Pence No one's had a better rebrand by doing nothing
I know.
than Mike Pence. We look at Mike Johnson and it's like, what happened to ramrod, sturdy Mike Pence? Just it's unreal.
Yeah.
The man spent 90% of his term complimenting Trump's breadth of shoulders.
Yeah.
But when it came to COVID, he was responsible. He was a responsible messenger, and Trump got jealous and took over the press conferences. And he didn't try to overturn an election. And you're like, a hero,
Yeah,
Mike
I know.
Pence, a hero. We need more Mike Pence. So our first night, we went to Whole Foods. You get into some good conversations. You start to see your community in all its, and it's a good thing in a way. And in this day and age, I think canvassing had to have been easier pre-cell phone when we hadn't warped ourselves into, I hate eye contact.
Right.
Like it used to be like, I don't sign stuff. Now it's like, I don't even like looking at people. So Whole Foods was not bad. My best conversation was with an independent. And I, what I say to every independent, I go, remember this face for the general. And, but that was probably the best. But I'm impressed by people who stop at all. Cause I'm like, I'm of that. No, thanks. I'll acknowledge you.
Yes.
I'll acknowledge you. You're a human being. You're trying to do something. You seem like earnest about something, whether it's saving animals. I always acknowledge them because it sucks. So you're getting a mixed match. Okay. So then it was time to hit up all the supermarkets, and I'm not going to talk about some of the fellow competitors I've seen, at the same supermarkets and whatnot.
People that running for
the
the same
techniques
seat.
they've used and whatnot.
You've been in the same place with other people, really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It is, because there's some hot spot, there's some good spots to be in. But throughout the week, it was just a grind. It was actually the mental grind, I think, was less than the physical grind. Just up on your feet for 12 hours. The stress when you're not collecting signatures, like when I would sit down for like a 3 p.m. lunch and want to melt into my seat because I'm like, oh God, it just caught up to me.
Yeah.
Like once you stop, it's like when you're running and then you stop and the sweat pours out of you. It's like that, but with energy. And and there were just these moments where for most of it, you're walking by yourself. It starts to get, the winter, it starts to get darker early. It's cold. I'm wearing like a thinner coat and no hat because you're trying to meet people. I look like the abominable snowman if I'm like in my park. I'm like, hello, I'm trying to run for something. Get away, Mace. Yeah. Damn it, JL.
It's not another dog, Frankie.
So that was my limited Harrison Ford yelling at JL Baca. Get the signature, JL. So it was this slow process. And then the way I referred to it on my Patreon, I said it was like a political Dunkirk. All of a sudden, just a couple people start to say, hey, could I get a petition? And I did this by the book. People would ask me questions like, could I just take a sheet? I go, no, because you got to sign for that packet. Whether you get 3, your friend's got to come to you. I'm sure plenty of people skirted the rules, but I said, once again, just like comedy, what's the point? If I want to do this for the right reasons, I don't think I'm so special that I'm so necessary that I've got to cheat to get, I gotta find a way in. But at the same time, I believe the responsibility is so special that I will not do it the wrong way to get in. And the weeks just keep going by. Laura takes a packet to work. She has her packet. She's getting friends and coworkers and she's doing all the what town. She's becomes an expert at the jurisdiction. I don't have time. I'm doing like a statement and reviewing policy with my advisors and then going out for 8 hours. Yeah. And obviously I had to go to work some of those days. So then it was like, okay, work ends at 5. I'm going to a supermarket at 5:05 for the next 5 hours. And I mean, some great, a good conversation or a good interaction with a constituent wipes out 10 bad ones. You know what I mean? Like that's the power of just, and I had great conversations with people who halfway through were like, I'm an independent. I can't, but you're just like, you know what? you know this. I like talking, but I also, I like the give and take of conversation and human interaction. It's a thing we're losing rapidly. And so one good one wipes out 10 people going, where you're like, what's wrong? Just ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Like you're going in the super, there's a lot more people in the supermarket. Get ready.
Yeah, right.
If this terrified you, hey, sir, are you a registered Democrat? There's a world of hurt in ShopRite for you. But it was this steady slog, and people started coming on board and asking me, hey, can I do that? Hey, how can I help? How can I help? The only thing I did hate was like, I'm literally outside freezing and people are like, how many signatures so far?
Yeah.
Like 10 of those a day. And not from like Laura or the campaign team, just like, I want, and those were the moments where I got a little angry. And it's nothing personal against any individual person, but that's where politics started to feel like comedy. Mm-hmm. Like, don't, I'm out here doing this. I'm out here on my own. You don't have to be here. Maybe you can't even do anything out here. But what you can do is not try to be part of it, because this is the difficult part. Mm-hmm. This is the rough stuff. Yeah. I don't need to be, I need support, or I need to be left alone.
Right.
The third thing of like, so what's up? What's going on? Like, it's pretty cool you're doing this. Let me in on it. No, stop.
Right.
So we get to my big play. My big play was, I'm looking around. Morristown's a big town in the district, beautiful town. And by the way, anybody who listens to this who at all helped in any way, whether you donated, whether you sent a friend, some people sent friends to me in the town. They're like, hey, Kane sent me. Mm-hmm. Hey, Darcy sent me. Hey, like that's beautiful, because that's a degree of separation. That's somebody making a case for me, and then that case being good enough, or that person being a solid enough person to get off theirs in cold weather. The weather stunk. Yeah. It's been so cold and rainy. It's gross. And you come out like that's an incredible thing. And I wish it wasn't so rare, not for me personally, but just the engagement, the people taking this seriously. Like, hey, it's, if Trump, I have a buddy in DC. I think he was pretty much an apolitical guy. He's from the South. Never knew his politics, just always knew he was a good, chill dude. Mm-hmm. Never would have, if he had been a Republican, I would have been like, well, your whole town is Republican, right? Like, you're not like gravitating to the party, but whatever. Never really got into politics. Trump scared him into being like really into politics. And I thought that makes sense. Like, at least it's that we're at this point where I still see a lot of disengagement, or like, no way, man. No, like, people don't like to feel helpless, I guess. And the best way to not feel helpless is to be cynical and dismiss it. Yeah. Because that's what I thought happened during COVID. I thought there were two sides. I was scared. I was fat. I was overweight. I was in my 40s now, and I was like, wait, I'm 29 and I lift weights, bro. I'm good. But I was like, no, I'm overweight and I'm 41. I'm nervous. Mm-hmm. This is a scary thing. Yeah. So what do? Not like a coward. I go, I'm going to mask up. I'm going to socially distance. I'm going to do what I can to not get this, because I'm concerned about myself. I don't want to, because it's when you're fat and in your 40s, it's easier to be like, being concerned about myself is helping the community. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, I am, but I don't have to go one step further and go, I'm doing it because I'm helping the community. I'm like, I'm doing it to not die, and that will help the community. Right. And, well, I mean, not if you look at ticket sales, but it's sort of a net zero. Yeah. But I think, but the other half of the country never acknowledged, this is scary. Because I don't know how to stop this. And when a Joe Rogan, maybe he believes what he says, but when a Joe Rogan kind of tells you like, no, it's in your power and this stuff is nonsense and you got to here, take this. Like you feel empowered because you can control it. But somewhere in your mind, you can't control it. Because why would you be so upset at people masking? Because they're reminding you of your vulnerability. And you've buried it under a layer of bullshit. And we've done that as a society now. Trump is scary. Like, like what Trump represents what this MAGA movement represents, he is undoing so much of this country. It's like a virus eating your organs from inside. You still look fine. You're like, it's still America, but like, we're not even going to get into the dozens of things like structurally, bombing boats in Venezuela. Like it's obscene. It's an absurdity it's a parody of bad government. Like it's like if Mel Brooks was like the worst government in the world, like he'd make this movie and we just laugh because they're dumb and it's not us suffering. It's movie characters, but it's real life. And I still think there are people who are just like, I don't want to get involved. Maybe there's selfish reasons, but I think there's got to be an element of people not getting involved. How do you look at what's going on? If you pay attention, maybe you choose not to even pay attention, and people kind of view that as a, hey, I don't do politics. Well, politics is doing you. Like, that's what I would say to people. Like, you don't do politics. Politics is coming for you. Like, what Trump is doing is going to make your life worse. If not now, 10 years from now. If not you, your kid or your spouse or your friend. Like, you don't need to be a political junkie, but I was sort of distressed a little bit at the sort of, I know I'm picking on random people in the street, but it's random, but you're in affluent towns, and a sort of some engagement, some real engaged, and then some people who are just like, don't know what I'm talking about. Some people are like, no way, don't do that. And the net effect was positive because, like I said, the ratio of when you have a good interaction or you meet somebody new and you're connecting or you're talking and discussing, that's a great feeling. It gives you a little hope. And that hope is much more significant than the constant pessimism of the little things. But I said with Morristown, this is my big one, and by coincidence, there was a comedy show at the theater Saturday night after Thanksgiving. And I said, this is like my big play. So I asked the guy who runs the show, I've done the show before as like a full-time, and I said, can I get a 5-minute guest spot? Don't pay, you don't have to pay me. 5 minutes. He says, can you do like 4 and your pitch, like a late night set? I go, got it. So while I'm waiting outside the theater that night, I'm get 5 or 6 signatures before the show, because it's kind of makes people stop when you go, hey, he's on the show and he's running for Congress. You're going to see him inside. And they go, what? So that's all you need, 20 seconds, and you make the pitch. Right. But one guy walks by and he goes, I want nothing to do with Mikey Sherrill. And older man I was with, very energetic older guy who I know through Pete Dominic, he goes, no, he's trying to take Mikey Sherrill's place. No, Democrats, all they love is boys in dresses. But he's saying it kind of like not just like making jokes. Yeah. And this older gentleman with me goes, I love it. And the guy goes, right, because you're a pedophile. And I was like, I've never been in such close proximity to one of these people who their end game for every Democrat is you're a pedophile. Right. My question to these people, if I can do this now as a public figure, as a satirist and a politician, do you think there's 75 million pedophiles in America? Like, that's an honest question. I know it's a weird topic, but it's like there is something so warped about that thinking. And I think, once again, it goes to this idea of people losing control. And so if you feel like you're losing control, what's a way for me to, just like I say, a good interaction is worth 10 bad interactions. What makes me feel powerful if I feel kind of powerless? If I were to dig into my subconscious, saving kids. Like, saving a kid is worth 100 bad days. Or 1,000 days of feeling like, what did I do with my life? I'm saving kids. There's this weird obsession. And I think it all stems from, not that there isn't issues of course, crime, all sorts of crime. But the idea that, like, I think it all stems back, all these things that Trump has exploited and that his base over the last 10 to 12 years has become obsessed with, I think are all about, I don't want to feel worthless. What if my job went away, or if I'm not making as much money as all these people on social media? With teens, it's become a depression issue. But with a lot of the, I think, MAGA world, and this is not excusing it or saying that we can wait for them to wake up, some of them, it just feels like there is this element of, and like I said, I feel bad about plenty of things. It doesn't make me go MAGA. But if you're in a certain realm, I think it seems like they're very susceptible to this erases the feeling of ineptitude or loss or struggle that's been like occupying my life. So when that guy says that, I'm like, well, he doesn't seem like he's in a good mood for comedy. Can't wait to go up there and make my pitch on why you should sign my petition to get me to Congress. And so the crowd was packed. Comics backstage were all nice. And the host, this guy, Tommy Gooch, who I've seen online but never met, fantastic intro. We like worked it out just because I said, this is such a bang bang thing. The intro's got to be good. And he said, this guy, he's been here before, super funny guy. He's all over. He's been on Billions on Showtime. I told him now because that's like a big and this is real. He's actually also running for Congress. And just by giving me that, I didn't have to have at the end of my set this confusion where it's like, wait, what? And then I'm off stage. And I did 2 minutes on the blood of Christ, how my priest brought it back in the church. I'm like, that's a pretty arrogant post-COVID move. And then I did the greatest Trump impression I've ever done, which obviously means it was the greatest Earth has ever witnessed. And I think it was sort of a perfect moment because it was like the fatigue, the wear on my voice all week got me to like another level, like Barry Bonds on Balco level of Trump impression. My head was gigantic.
Yeah.
And I was just, they got this guy. He's a bad bunny. He's a bad, and they want to do the bad. Excuse me. They want to do a bad. They want to do a bad bunny. We used to have nice, remember when we used to have nice bunnies? We had a lot of nice, but we had the rabbit people were very strong for, and it was like white senior Def Jam, what I was pulling off on that stage. And then I made the pitch. Nobody booed. Some people clapped. And like 35, 40 signatures followed that night. Now, that's not the difference of making it or breaking, but it felt like a beautiful moment for me of like using what I have to further my new pursuit. And it was like, I think I almost slept well that night. That's how relieved I felt. And there were people there for me. There were fans there. There were people helping me just bark outside. And just, this has been, comedy has taught me to be wary of people in a good way. Like the 2020 experience of like everybody coming at me like, oh, you're the best. Like people who I was great at comedy 2 days ago. You missed the last 11 years of shows. But it did teach me to be sort of wary, not to get too high, because I got too high. I didn't get arrogant, but I wanted it so badly. And like when 2020 happened, it was so surprising, but I still had this deep, deep desire for it. And it was like, oh my God, it's happening. And I was like, yeah, thanks. And I didn't realize a lot of people were just trying to get where there was some heat. And so I think that's a good lesson to bring to politics, because you have to care about your constituents. But I don't have to care about the people telling me how awesome it is and how cool it is and how, it's the people who grind with me and the people I'm supposed to serve. That's it. There's no third group of like, I gotta be, it's like, are you supporting this? You have my loyalty and deep appreciation and hard work. Are you in where are you one of my constituents potentially? I give a shit what you say. This is the job. This is public service. Hopefully what I believe, what I like, how I approach is something you want in your representative. But at the end of the day, you represent people and they're the boss. But anybody else, and I think I learned that from comedy, anybody else, it's just talk, and it's like, you get in trouble when you let it gas you up. So, and today I found, my manager, campaign manager took the signatures to Trenton. We exceeded it by over 100.
Great.
And last night was like a beautiful thing, because I hosted a pizza and notary party at my apartment. Just hired a notary and said, it may be a drive for some of you, but at least you don't have to get hassled. So it was a combination, and I've said this, I think, on Patreon, but it was a combination of the karaoke jam and the Cable Guy and Dunkirk.
Don't you want somebody
You had
to
honey in your voice tonight, Raoul. Tonight, it's my turn. When the truth is found to me. Oh, Jim Carrey's finest work.
Yeah.
It's an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah.
His performance in that, like if we respected comedy, best actor.
Yeah.
95, I forget who won in 95, but it should have been Jim Carrey for the Cable Guy, or 96. But it was like friends of friends, all across the age spectrum. One of my great friends from college and law school, a basketball teammate, he's in Chatham, New Jersey. He all these people showed up, and it wasn't like, this is so cool. I could see these people knew me well enough or had heard enough of me to say, I'm taking time out of my day. And that's always been my thing with comedy. No matter how good I am, no matter how much I put out, 95% just, they consume the free stuff, they tell you you're great, and you want it to mean more, and it doesn't. This was all the opposite. I felt guilty. It was like, Laura got some wine and the pizza was good, but I was like, I owe you people. Like, you have helped make this campaign a possibility. Doesn't mean I'm going to succeed. The harder work is now. But they, just different people, some who know me, some who don't, but just having faith that I can do something and taking time out of there to get signatures, to come to my building, to wait for 2 hours for the notaries going through everybody's forms. It's like, it's an incredible thing. And if people know me, when I say I do comedy the right way, I don't know how this campaign is going to turn out. And by campaign, I mean the guy on the Knicks.
Not on the Knicks anymore.
Oh, damn it. Almost a perfect joke. That's like a Family Guy joke. How's your campaign going? And then campaign, the NBA player shows up. What a name.
What a reference.
What a name. How's your campaign? Shut up, Meg. But that was like, I just hope enough people can see me the way those people saw me and know that I have the skills to fight. That's a big word. It's a big, we need to fight, but I can fight for people, and I can fight the right way. And I can, I think if I can just show enough people that, like, yeah, I can trust this guy I can trust, and he'll go to the mat for me, and he's smart enough, I think we can do some things. And if we don't, that won't change the fact that it was incredibly meaningful. Everybody who signed, everybody who took time, and the people who gathered signatures for me. And I owe a special degree of thanks to Laura, who, that's who I almost felt most guilty about. And I thought to myself, and what a way to end this show. I said, I think it takes a real piece of shit to be a comedian or a politician and have loved ones. That was a fleeting thought during this process, because, and I know it's a little paternalistic or chauvinistic even of me, but like me out there trudging along, it's like, well, I did this to myself. But then I think of like little Laura trudging out there to get signatures for me too, and I go, who would do this to this woman? And I'm like, that's going to be, damn it, Chewy. But that's going to be like, I feel like that's what I should say at the first debate, is like, we're all terrible people. Just who do you think is going to be the best attack dog for you? Yeah. Because I'm telling you, after 10 days of gathering signatures, I felt guilty of just friends. And it's like, you almost feel not worthy. You believe in yourself, but at the same time, you see the real effort being put forth, and you want to be worthy of it. Like, you want what you're doing. Whether or not you succeed, you want to at least be worthy as a person of what they're doing. And I hope I am. And I'm going to try to be, and we're going to see what we can do with this. But, what a night. Everybody's like, this show used to be funny. He's ending his comedy career and the show. Yikes. But we'll end it as we always have to end it, one quick break, and then we'll come back with 2 minutes of funny.
Great.
And we're back. Mike, how was that second break?
Fabulous. A little more upbeat than the first break.
Yeah. Comedy talk, everybody. We have a format. We obey the format.
And for the last one, we have to.
Yeah. Sebastian Maniscalco. It ain't right. His special. It was. I'm a huge Maniscalco fan, but I think he has crossed into this danger zone that Dane Cook, among other people, crossed into, where you get so big that you start to do, and I'm not saying I love what Maniscalco does generally, but you get so big that you just become, you're doing yourself. Mm-hmm. You're like, what's a Maniscalco bit? What's a Maniscalco gesticulation, movement? And it's not that I didn't laugh at some things, but it just feels like, I've said this about a lot of comics. You're worth like probably $70 million. Somebody's got to buck the system besides my boy Bo Burnham, who does what he wants when he wants.
Yeah.
Like, he's not trying to saturate the market, but take a beat, like, you don't have to take a JL beat, but take a beat, like, let the art grow. Let the thing, like, do not, if people who have $100 million can't say no to Saudi Arabia and can't say no to the yearly paycheck for a special, what are we doing? And so I watched it. I chuckled at some stuff, but I felt like, somebody has to just pause and be like, the art's suffering. If anybody still cares about it. So I didn't care for it that much. And I'm a huge fan of his. Like, I've seen him live. I've worked with him actually. And Punch Down of the Week, I feel like, should be one we end on. We usually do Punch Down this, but Punch Down of the Week. This goes out to the person who said on Facebook, it's a good transition one. How hard is it really to get 500 signatures though?
Oh, no.
And I just thought, yeah, I don't even have to. I wrote them back in a very measured way, listing all the reasons why it's difficult. Yes. But I thought, comedy is America. America is comedy. Mm-hmm. And boy, oh boy, to answer that person's question, hard. And that's it, everybody. This is a big couple of months for me. So any support you can give, that's only for the YouTube people.
Yep.
And
Cha-ching.
And Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, and Johnny Manziel.
But yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. We're gonna see if we can make a difference, do something good. And if we don't, I think the effort is worth making. And if we do, holy shit. So thank you, everybody who's watched or listened. Thank you, Mike. Assistant producer Frankie, I'm going to have to see you because you clearly missed me a lot with the week off. With the week off, you were really happy to see me. That's not a joke, everybody.
So excited that he
loves
threw up
me.
Twice.
He loves me. But yeah, see you next Thursday somewhere. That's not even a thing. Actually, that's a plural.